Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Ethereum is retesting this critical area of support, while Bitcoin is rejecting from this important area of resistance, which I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, starting off on the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now, as of recording this video, technically speaking, the price of Bitcoin is still currently within this shorter-term bullish trend on the daily time frame, because we're still seeing higher lows and higher highs in the price and the RSI. But obviously, what we have seen over the last one day is a bit of a short-term cool-off in the price action, a bit of a pullback to help reset the daily Bitcoin RSI. Because once again, as I said in my last video on the channel, the daily Bitcoin RSI was getting very close to overbought territories, which basically means we have limited room to the upside, at least in the shorter term. And so essentially, we need to see some sort of short-term cool-off, either in the form of a pullback, if not some choppy sideways price action, once again, just to help to reset the RSI, which is currently happening. And so technically speaking, with the RSI resetting, this can give us some more room to the upside later on, after we finish seeing this cool-off, which could perhaps last for a few days. And I would only start to flip much more bearish again in terms of the trend if we start breaking this higher low structure. So for example, if we break below this previous low in the price or in the RSI, then those signals would be bearish signals and signs of weakness in this bullish trend. But once again, at least for now, we have not yet seen that happen. So at least as of right now, this is just a shorter term cool off within this bullish trend. And as for the daily Bitcoin price oscillators, first of all, the daily Bitcoin MACD is still currently looking more bullish than bearish, but with that being said, it does have limited momentum compared to some of these previous moves. And so essentially, I would not necessarily expect a massive high momentum movement to the upside like what we saw back here, because once again, right now, the MACD is simply not showing that much momentum to the upside, but once again, it is still looking more bullish than bearish. And something similar can be said about the daily Bitcoin RSI, because once again, this is still trending to the upside, forming higher lows and higher highs, which is more of a bullish signal. But once again, just over the last one day, it did get very close to overbought territories, meaning we have limited room to the upside, at least in the shorter term. And of course, this bullish divergence on the daily time frame is technically still active, because we have not yet seen a breakdown in the RSI below this ascending line of support or into new lower lows in both the RSI or the price action. And so once again, this bullish divergence currently playing out means we're due to see either some choppy sideways price action, if not a bullish relief, which so far has been playing out over the last couple of weeks. And as for support and resistance, first of all, staying on the daily time frame, we have a major area of resistance in the volume profile indicator, sitting in between around 27.9k to around 28.2k. And as you can see, this has been previous resistance back during around the end of May and also around the end of August. So at least on the daily time frame, this is obviously a significant area of resistance to surpass. So while the price of Bitcoin is still below this resistance, obviously we're still playing out this short-term cool-off. And once again, if you watched my last video on the channel, then you would know that that is also where the 50% retracement level is sitting at, which is also a level of resistance at approximately 28.1k to 28.2k. And obviously over the last one day or so, we did actually see a candle wick to the upside above that level, but we did not see any daily candle close actually confirming that breakout to the upside, or ideally we needed to see that level flip into new support again. And so once again, as I said in my last video, we need to see those confirmation signals in order to actually confirm the breakout to the upside and head higher towards this golden pocket. But once again, we did not see a daily candle close or hold above that level as support at all, meaning we did not confirm the breakout to the upside. So as of right now, this is still acting as resistance. But even if we did confirm the breakout to the upside and started heading higher towards the golden pocket, once again, like I said in my last video, the RSI was very close to overbought. And so either way, we were due to see some sort of cool off, either a pullback or consolidation between now and the golden pockets. Because like I said in my last video, it was extremely unlikely that the price would just continue higher all the way up towards the golden pocket and above the golden pocket without seeing a pullback or correction before eventually breaking out above the golden pocket. And so once again, right now, that is simply playing out a bit of a pullback in the short term, helping to reset the RSI, which is actually good for as long as we don't actually see a break into new lower lows. And as for support, looking at these Fibonacci levels, we could find some support at around 27.3k approximately. And zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour time frame, we also have this previous descending line of resistance, which could now act as support, also sitting where a Fibonacci level is sitting at. And this level is coming into play at around 27.1k to 27.2k. So basically in between around 27.1k to 27.3k is where I would expect the next short-term support to come into play. But in a more bearish scenario, if we actually see a break below around 27.1k, then in that case, we would likely drop back down towards around 26.7k. And below that level, we have the golden pocket on the 4-hour time frame acting as support in between around 26.1k to around 26.3k. And just giving you a quick update on the Bitcoin funding rate across multiple exchanges. And over the last one day, these funding rates have now moved back towards the positive. And so if you watched my last video on the channel, you would know that essentially this means the short squeeze that has played out over the last few days is now over, because as I explained in more detail in my last video on the channel, while the funding rates are negative, that basically means a potential short squeeze is playing out, especially if the price is traveling higher and higher, liquidating short positions. But like I explained in my last video, if the funding rates flip back towards the positive, so out of the negative territory, this basically means the short squeeze is coming to an end, which means we do not have that extra added fuel pushing the price higher. And so now that that extra bullish fuel has been taken away, obviously this means we are currently seeing a bit of a pullback because we no longer have that extra buying pressure pushing the price higher. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And right now, as I'm recording this video, the price of ETH is actually retesting this important area of support, which was also resistance over the last few weeks. And in case you're new to the channel, this price range is sitting in between around 1620 to 1660. And so obviously, if the price of ETH actually confirms a break back below 1620, then that would be a bearish signal on the daily time frame, potentially pointing towards the resumption of this previous bearish trend. Because this area of support is not only important because it was support previously, but also if you're looking at the volume profile indicator, we do have a lot of traded volume around that price range acting as support. And so essentially, if we see a break below 1620, we do not really have a lot of support to the downside, as you can see in the volume profile indicator. And so essentially in that scenario, we could quickly drop back down towards these lows sitting at around 1550 approximately to around 1570. But once again, that would only happen if we first confirm a break below around 1620 with at least a daily candle close back below that level. And as for the daily Ethereum price oscillators, first of all, the MACD, as of recording this video, is still looking more bullish than bearish. But with that being said, it does not have a lot of momentum. And so this means right now we do not really have a strong direction on the chart. But once again, it is technically still sitting in the green, showing some bullish momentum in terms of the trend. And as for the daily Ethereum RSI, once again, this is technically still trending to the upside, forming higher lows and higher highs. And also we still have an active bullish divergence still playing out on the daily time frame. And so this means we're due to see either some choppy sideways price action, if not a bullish relief, which over the last few weeks has been playing out. But once again, like I said in my last video on the channel, the daily RSI got very close to overbought territories, which means the price went too far to the upside too quickly, and we need some time to cool off. And like I explained in my last video, a cool off to help reset the RSI can play out in the form of either choppy sideways price action, if not a pullback in the price, which obviously is now playing out. But of course, we can experience some bearish price action within a bullish trend, just like how we can experience some bullish price action within a bearish trend. It's just for as long as we do not break below these previous lows in the price and the RSI, once again, in terms of the trend, we are still looking more bullish than bearish. It's just right now, obviously, we needed to see a bit of a cool off to help reset the RSI, which can actually give us some more room to the upside later on. And if you're zooming into the short term, looking at support and resistance, in the immediate short term on the 4-hour time frame, we have actually started to see a short term bearish signal with a break below the golden pocket sitting in between around 1660 to 1670. And so now that we are seeing this break to the downside, the next support to pay attention to is the 50% retracement level sitting at around 1635 approximately. And below that level of support, if 1635 does not hold up, then in that case, we have around 1610 acting as support and around 1580 acting as support. And as for short-term resistance, we could now find a bit of short-term resistance in between 1660 to 1670. And if we actually see a breakout back above 1670 with confirmation, then in that case, we could head up towards the 78.6% Fibonacci level of resistance again, which is sitting at around 1.7k. And if we actually see a confirmed breakout above 1.7k, then in that case, we could continue higher up towards around 1740 to 1750, which is where the next resistance is sitting at. As we saw over the last 1 day or so, we got a clear rejection from around 1740 to 1750 here on this chart. And now, if you want to know how to make a lot of profit in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways as we've seen recently, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.